Peace, 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 fam. How y'all doing? Peace and blessings to everyone. Peace, peace, peace. This is Oracle Deborah with the Oracle Deborah podcast on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it very much. Just coming right off the bat, the first thing I thought of, I am going to be so stoked when the masses of you guys start hearing these messages because every time I record an episode, upload it, publish it, it's just confirmation all over the place. And I am not recording for confirmation, but I am in such a state of conviction based on the work, the inner work. Okay, I knew there was going to come a time when my little battery is going to run low. So give me a second. Here we go. Let's get plugged up here. Doing the inner work, not in my ego. Talk about a race to destruction there. Not in my ego. Um, but just getting feedback along the way. Okay. And even if the feedback was counter to, sorry for the distraction here. Let me go on and I'm in a bit of an awkward space here. Like it's awkward. If I can make some changes. All right. Sorry about that. All right. It is kind of late. It's actually 1 a.m. on the 23rd. We had somewhat of a portal yesterday at 11:22. Um, but anyway, the messages are just so poignant. This is not a brag. I'm telling you, this is a this is a plea, more of a plea to definitely go and do the inner work and and stand on your own square and develop a relationship with your guides, with your own guides. Because I'm telling you, people are course correcting, but I feel like it's too little, too late. Um, I give anybody props for saying, okay, I was wrong, you know. And when I say this, I'm talking about, there's still backlash from this election and how people voted and how people encourage people to vote and you you're we are watching uh, people crash and burn networks, basically on the verge of crashing and burning, pundits crashing and burning. Right now, The View is probably one of the most hated uh, shows out there. That in MSNBC, uh, you know, uh, on the surface at least, it seems, you know, because you have people on The View that just won't stop. They just cannot get out of their own way. They are stuck on stupid. Not all of them. but some of them are literally stuck on stupid, as is MSNBC. And I'm so proud of the collective grassroots, you know, all of us, and even though many of us, not me clearly, but those out there who were establishing their channel and um, ended up in conflicts with others. Uh, the fact of the matter is, yes, you had your conflict, you had your powwow, but each of you still committed to um, committed to your divine path, and you continue to put the information out there, and you continue to report, even in the midst of your major blow up with someone else. You continue to serve the collective. And I saw that. And that's why I didn't take sides or anything, because I thought they're all good in their own right. And you were all doing good in your own right. So this is a message, a more of a positive message for you guys, and give you guys your flowers right now, because no matter what, you know what I'm saying? You continued on your path. You continue to stand on your square. So it didn't matter if you were doing it this way or this one felt like, oh, no, my way is a little better and yada, yada, yada. That was just whatever. At the end of the day, you guys, TKO'd yourself, and you got up and you brushed yourself off and you continued to serve the collective. And we appreciated that. We value that. And that is why your numbers can maintain. They maintain their whatever, they were able to maintain their level of I don't know what I'm saying because it's so late, but you were able to maintain your level of followership. Let's put it that way. So you were able to maintain that. If you lost a little, you gained a little somewhere else. Maybe you had to shift platforms. Maybe you had to detach from someone else who didn't serve your highest and best good. But at the end of the day, you continued to stand on your square. You continue to serve the public, not the public. Well, yes, you serve the public, but more of the collective. And you grew followership because people were tired and frustrated and scared and all these things. And those of us like me who have a different path and we're under serious uh, karma or fate or whatever you call it, there's no, I hide behind nothing at this point because we're in the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius reveals and exposes everybody. But I was doing the work on the back end. I was gaining skill, couldn't really use the skill, couldn't put it into play. Every time I tried to put it into play, my knowledge into play, my intellect into play, it got stopped stone cold right in the middle of my tracks. And that was my fate. That was my karma. That was my lot. That was whatever you want to call it, or however you conceive it to be. I know it's my walk. I knew what was going on. But I stood on my square and I committed to the good inner work. And I said, the inner work is the best work you can ever do for yourself. It's hard work. It's grueling work, but it is the best work you can ever do for yourself. And I committed to that. because I saw the benefits and the values and got the rewards along the way. That's another way to know that you're on your right path. When every seed you drop in that soil is just good soil and is bearing fruit. And not bearing fruit in the way that we like to quote unquote believe uh, that, of what fruit means. It's not money, because I was losing money, I wasn't losing money. The money was going somewhere else. It was being divested somewhere else. I don't lose money. It was being divested somewhere else. But it certainly wasn't in my account. You feel me? So it may not show up as money. I know it's hard to hear those words. It is an absolute trigger when those words are spoken. But when we're dealing with a broader perspective on our path and our goal and our purpose, it's another trigger word. We've heard, how many times have we heard that? Um, the other things come into play. You do drill in on life. Do I have my life first and foremost? Where's the state of my family, my immediate family? Okay. Are we connecting and what's another word? Who are we consorting with? Who are we spending time with? Are these people, are these energies the best thing for us? Is their energy for our highest? Is it doing something good for our highest and best good? So we're taking those things into account. And we determine this entity is not going to work. This energy is not going to work at all. I'm going to look up this one particular scripture that I always get wrong, basically. I don't get it wrong. I just can't get it perfectly right. Let's put it that way. And I do from time to time reference scriptures because I was a scholar at one point. Not anymore, but at one point. And the Bible is full of wisdom. It is a tool. It is not the end all be all because the Bible we know is not complete. Okay, there was a ton of things taken out and removed for the purpose of the greedy, those who wanted to control the masses. But what was intact, the Bible is still a book of wisdom and science and astronomy and astrology and just all kinds of, other juiciness in that book. It's very, um, what's the word I want to use? It's not a book, let's put it this way, it's not a book to be taken literally. But in this sense, this is how I had evolved and come to understand this particular scripture. So give me 1 second. It will take just 2 seconds to look up this scripture. And it is Ephesians 6:12. And hopefully I would not have lost my train of thought as to why I looked it up from the beginning. Let's see. Okay. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So in going down this road and going through this journey of self-discovery of sorts, of taking extreme ownership, um, of doing the inner work, the shadow work, committing to it. That is the key word, is the commitment. So the grassroots media committed to continuing to put out um, truthful, alternative viewpoints as to what, as opposed to what we were receiving and being fed on a daily basis. And that helped wake up many in the collective, many young people. I don't know how many older people were out there, listening. Maybe not, because the older folks generally don't, we're set in our ways, and we know what we know. We've got what we've gotten based on what we know. And, maybe the young folks around us were educating, you know, the because I know my son was helping educate me on some things, on some matters. So that would have been more of the young folks, probably in most cases, not all, most cases, uh, keeping the older folks um, apprised of the shifts that were taking place. But you guys committed to that. You committed to your path. And it did not matter. It did not matter that you were bucking heads with one another at points and in times. And actually, I saw that as a good thing. I saw it as a really good thing, because at, when you're doing that, that means you're not in a group think type of situation, as is the Democratic Party. And some might even say the Republican Party. But definitely the Democratic Party is knee deep in groupthink, knee deep. So I saw the friction as a good thing. It was to keep everybody on their toes, stand on their square, to double down on their purpose that they had committed to, and it worked. I saw it as a good thing then, and I still see it as a good thing now. It's proven to be a good thing. Look at the results. Now, I'm hearing at least one spiritualist who has somehow been ripped out of her state of grief over this election, and, came out off the cuff and said I was wrong about what I predicted for the election. The problem is it was a one statement thing. And this particular individual went on to educate her followers about what they need to do. And you're not doing this and you're not doing that. It's not going to work. Because the whole time I'm hearing contradiction. They wouldn't be in this place if they weren't listening to you and your guides. Why would anyone trust your guides at this point? Your guides intentionally misled you. And she did admit that. I just gave a pronoun. But the person did admit that. She actually said, you got, to her guys, you got me out here looking cray cray. Like, what the heck? But it was clear from more of what she shared that it was it was a good portion of that was what she saw on the ground, what she was hearing on the ground, um, and also included in her own filters is how this decision came about. now her guys confirmed. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, I couldn't tell if, well, she didn't make it clear in her prediction, her very definitive prediction, that it wasn't like, get ready, this is going to happen. And, you're going to need to stock up, you're going to need to do this, and it wasn't that. It was more like, and actually she confirmed it was more like the divine feminine is coming into play and this person is going to win. That's how it came about. And that's why it was so wrong. I don't know how else to put it. Which that's why it was so wrong. But when you come out to apologize, when you come out to admit you're wrong, when you come out and you're transparent and say, yo, okay, I gotta confess, this thing is making me look cray because this is what you said, and this is what you told me, and I followed suit and I did what I normally do, which is tell the collective, and this thing was all wrong. So it's good. That transparency is good. But when you follow it up with, this is how things are going to be, and this is what you should have known, and this is what you're not doing, that that thing is narcissistic. There's a narcissism about this energy. And I kept getting too little, too late. And I also got, okay, the information you're putting out now, okay, yeah, that's good in a practical sense for those of us who want to start following suit and getting ready for what we had already known, which is why we knew that this person running for office on the left was representing nothing but death and destruction. We knew that. That was clear. I mean, even if you just move this spiritual uh, woo woo stuff to the side, right? You just move that off to the side and you listen to this person just as, a layperson listening to an individual running for the highest office on this soil, and they're not answering questions directly. Their form of responses are called word salads, and then there's the constant repetitiveness to the point that you just want to vomit, and there's clear um, incompetency there, awkwardness in their presence in front of the camera, like all these things. And then when people challenge it, they say, well, just go to the website and you'll see where the policies are. Whose policies? They were Biden's policies. I mean, collectively, you just look, you putting all the spiritual stuff aside, putting all the predictions aside, putting all that aside, just a lay person critically analyzing a a candidate. Only common sense would say, is this person qualified? No, I'm not talking the fact that she was a prosecutor in the past. For how long, I don't remember, but she had her moment as a prosecutor, and then there's the shadow around who she was having conjugal relations with, a married man that got her there. And then how she made it to Congress. She was on this fast track. She was just on a fast track to nowhere, to nowhere. Because when people are on a fast track in that energy, on that level, in this society, in that timeline, yes, what did you do? What did you promise? Who are you in bed with? Not just physically. You feel me? So just on that level, it's like, where's the competence in it? I represent intelligence. That is my number one identity. So for me, yes, it may have been clearer than someone else. I get that. But I mean, even the pundits were like, when the pundits tell you, okay, we're done with the word salad city, and even Van Jones says, okay, even this is starting to get on my nerves. Okay, even if intelligence is not your path, they're telling you through their expertise, yes, this is a problem, but they still rally for it. Okay, so let me get back to what I really want to say. I want to give a shout out to our grassroots collective. I'm so proud of you. I'm so, I'm just so ecstatic that you committed to your value. You stood on your square. You never flinched. I'm so proud of you. You committed to this incredible thing. Who would have known that this election was a judgment day? Hello. That's exactly what I got. And I almost wrote in the comments section of this particular person. And you know what I decided? I said, I'm not giving these people anything. They get no hint, they get no feedback. When there was an opportunity to give feedback, the comments were shut off. That wasn't good. But I guess she was under fire. And in that moment, this particular person was under fire. So she cut those comments off. She couldn't handle it. The blowback was just insane. But who knew? So when she was talking and she was apologizing, but not apologizing, it was very narcissistic, honestly. Very ego driven, very narcissistic. Um, I thought this election was a judgment day of sorts. So the decision you made prior to the results was essentially your judgment, my judgment. How scary is that? This is why you have to be selective in how you use the Bible. Okay. Because they would tell you, the guy's going to come in the sky by and by. Yet, this turned out to be an election of two men on the ground, for two people, two beings running for office. Their contest became a judgment of sorts. Who are you going to choose? And no one's saying that, the Reds are blemish free or they don't have their faults or things with them, but it's what each of them represented. That's the bigger picture. Are you representing a republic, freedom, i.e. Aquarius, i.e. the age of Aquarius, or are you representing oppression, slavery of sorts, a depression, bondage? Aquarius is not having that. Aquarius is not having that. This is why during the Pluto and Capricorn phase era, i.e. is so glad to have that in past tense for 16 years. It was such a blow up. It was such a blow up. And I give credit to one of the astrologers who made mention that Pluto doesn't like to be in Capricorn. It's not necessarily an enemy to Capricorn, but it doesn't like to be in Capricorn. Why? Because Pluto is movement, it's action, it's death, it's life, it's rebirth, it's reborn, being reborn, it's phoenix rising from the ashes, it's movement. Capricorn is resistance, tradition, a sort of a focus. It's like I want to be grounded. I want to plant my roots and stick it right there. I need that stability. And Pluto comes in, it's like your stability sucks. I need to do away with that. I need to shift some things so you can have real stability or long-term stability, or you know what I'm saying? Capricorn's like, I need my stability. Capricorns can be quite stubborn because there is such a desire and a need for stability. And Pluto doesn't give a hoot about that. So you see the friction there? Pluto wants to come in, do what it does, because Pluto does what it does, period. To the last millisecond, Pluto was being Pluto. And Capricorn is just resistance because it loves the traditional, the way things work, the way they've always worked. This is the foundation. This is what we maintain. No, that's not going to work. That's why Pluto didn't like being in Capricorn. That's why it was such a blow up everywhere. But with Pluto in Aquarius, we can work with that because Pluto is, Aquarius is movement. It's the water bearer. It's an air sign. Pluto can really do some incredible things without the resistance, without the, you know what I'm saying? Like there's air is flowy. You get Pluto moving in a flowy sign. You know what I'm saying? This is about freedom. This is about a sort of an expansion a little bit, right? Because you're going to expand your mind. You're going to open your mind to different ways of doing things. You're open your mind to different people and groups of people. You're going to come out of your solitary state and into a state of tribalness and groups and families and togetherness. Aquarius is the humanitarian of the zodiac. This is about the greater good for the collective. Pluto is going to be stupid crazy in Aquarius. It's going to be able to do essentially whatever it wants. Aquarius is for it all because Aquarius is so eclectic. I don't want the straight blonde hair no more. I want purple, green, and brown all mixed up in one, and I want it poked out this way and stuck out that way and shaped another way. Listen, I don't want the traditional makeup. I don't even want the makeup no more. I want more makeup. Like whatever. There's so much fluidity there, and Pluto is going to thrive and have his way as long as it's for the greater good of the collective. Aquarius is all right with that. That's what Aquarius represents. So I digressed a little bit. Let me get back on message and give a shout out to the collective grassroots. You did this thing. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. And I'm proud of myself because I was expanding my mindset to say, I don't normally listen to this person, but I'm going to follow the channel anyway and just keep brief, keep a brief um, eye on what you're saying. I wanted to expand my mind to this one particular channel who represented the red. And I was like, this is not how I was conditioned, but we're doing things differently now. That was how I was able to get through things. I always went back to what have you already been doing? What can you do differently? That was how I could tiptoe my way into or out of my own way, out of my own conditioning, out of my own programming, break these structures down in my mind. So I don't know what the grassroots media, what you guys had to do and how you got to where you are, but hey, let me let me send you your flowers right now. And let me send you some encouragement. Keep going because you represented, as what the Bible would say, the side, not necessarily of the sheep. Okay, so we need to probably look at that too. Who are the sheep really and who are the wolves? And what does the wolf really represent? So if you think about it, the wolf represents family. You know, they travel in packs, groups, tribes, family. And if you have uh, what would you call it? Like, a stray baby or, what was that word? A baby that was maybe, man, I can't even think of the term you would use when you have a child that's alone. I don't know why. Maybe because it's late. My words are escaping me. Ugh, I don't know. Give me a few seconds, okay? Because I know not a bastard child. I'm gonna use that word. It's not that. It's I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's just say you have a wolf that for whatever reason or another is just alone, parents are gone, for whatever reason, I don't know. If a pack comes along, a wolf like that, they will adopt that wolf and bring that wolf into the fold. The wolves roll in packs. A lone wolf is like, not the best, not the best source of survival, as we see. It could work for a time depending on the situation, but it's not in its natural habitat being alone, so to speak. You feel me? Um, so yeah, they generally run in packs. And so, who are the wolves? And do we have such a negative view of the wolves? The sheep, if you think about it, are the stupidest animal on the planet. No disrespect to the sheep. We appreciate the wool and the nutrition from the skin and all that stuff, right? So I don't eat meat, but you get my point. But what I'm just trying to say in a very undignified and probably ignorant way, what I'm saying is that this election ended up being a separation of the righteous and the unrighteous, or those who, or a shifting in power. I'll put it that way. But it was definitely a judgment of sorts. And those who made that decision prior to the results, they made their decision and their choice. And there may have been, I don't know, I want to say there may have been like a small window of opportunity where, you know, someone got their wits about them. But again, it was kind of too late then because there was such visceral energy surrounding um, those who were rooting for the left. They were crude. They were cruel. If they weren't so crude, if they weren't so cruel, if they weren't so diabolical, if they weren't so deceitful, if they weren't using rituals, if they didn't go all out and blow through $1 billion to present um, so-called stars before us to you know to manipulate us, to gaslight us. There was such diabolical behavior on that side. So, I mean, an incredible amount of diabolical behavior. If that were not the case, if it was just your average election where they're like, well, my opponent actually isn't so da da da. Well, my opponent isn't so da da da. And they actually ran cleaner elections, then maybe this would have been, um, there would have been, as it was in the past, okay, well, here we are, and I'm not happy, but we're gonna have to work. It wasn't that. There was witchcraft involved. And maybe there was witchcraft done in the past, probably. But this was a unique election. This was unique. And the grassroots knew it and they understood it. And probably because of the same diabolical behavior going on in past elections and the results from voting for these folks and um, they didn't come through, and they kept promising, they kept using us, and they kept. I mean, it got to a point they were dissing us in our face, and it was that collective energy over a course of decades that brought the grassroots to where basically we are today. And those who were strong and talented in the media side, this was their time. And I swear, I tip my hats to you. I tip my hats to you. And I follow a lot of your channels, and I listen to a lot of you on many different occasions. There was no um, following like I am a devoted follower kind of thing. No, that's not what I do. I checked in. I saw where you were. If I liked it, I said, okay, good. I checked in with another one. Let me hear what you're saying. Okay, good. And that's how I noticed you all had different things bringing to the table, but the same intentions and the same results. You were opening the minds of the collective. You were opening people's minds. You were waking them up. Dane Calloway, brilliant researcher, so committed. He and his wife, I don't know his wife's name. He just says his wife. So he and his wife, so committed. And yeah, I tip my hats to you. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. And I'm so grateful and so proud of the universe that the universe led us down this path. Why? Because we saw whatever path we were down before, and we say, this is not going to work. I had a vision, what, over a decade ago, of me going down this road with all these people with my hands up and praising God, hallelujah, and all that other stuff. And I realized I was on the road to destruction. I was on the wide path, not the narrow path. And I scared myself when I saw that. I said, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? Who am I? Who did I become? I was in such a state of shock that I had gotten to that place. I was like, no, I can't do that. Even being basically totally asleep, just about. I wasn't totally because I was awake enough to see that. But I scared myself when I saw that. And I immediately put a stop to that. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make an immediate exit out. We're going to complete the projects we have in tow and finish that out. And I said I was going to take a sabbatical. I couldn't just, I didn't know what to do. I just knew it's time to take a sabbatical, step back, go back to the beginning. Little did I know back to the beginning was to leave that place forever and for the universe to have his way, her way, its way in my life. And for me to be accepting of that, to be pliable, to be Aquarian about it, be more air energy and less, grounded Capricornish traditional energy. And it worked. I'm not going to get into the details now, but it worked. My path went from stone ground where seeds were dropping on there and just being washed away to I became really ripe soil. And that was beautiful. When I started to see things were being dropped in my soil, the seeds, good seeds dropped in my soil, and it was bearing fruit. That was the motivation I needed. And here I am today. So I won't belabor this. I just, I did a little bit labor this, but I just want to, I can't thank the collective enough for being committed to what you're doing, for being on your right path, for, cultivating good soil within yourself and not being on the side where people are scrambling and trying to course correct. I'm afraid that there's no course correction for those who made decisions regarding this election. I don't see it. I don't see it, you know? And we all have our fate and we all have our karma. Just look at it that way. Just look at it that way. I've had my moments of abundance, my years of abundance, and it's time to. I made a decision and I stuck to it, and this is the result. So be adult. Put on your put on your woman panties, your drawers. Put on your drawers. Pull them up. That's what we had to do. Yeah, put on the grown folk stuff and and do what you got to do. Okay. And this is where you activate a new kind of faith, a different kind of faith than what you've known before. So there absolutely has been a shift in the timeline. And I'm so happy to get the relief. I'm excited about the relief. I don't even feel for those Capricorns who were stuck on stupid, who learned nothing during this Pluto in Capricorn era, in that Pluto in Capricorn era, and have come out on the other side the same as they were before. I, I have no words for you. None. So, to the collective, um, congratulations. We are on our way. And you know, stay grounded a bit. Don't get all up in the air. That is the slippery slope. Is to get all up in the ether and forget where you are. Okay, you're not Pisces. Mm-mm. So don't do that. But just remember what Aquarius represents. Okay, groups, collective, freedom, liberty, expansion of the mind and perceptions, acceptance of self, acceptance of others. I know in some cases this is going to be like, well, you're contradicting yourself. Listen, collect, I'm saying collectively, but personally, whatever of these things applies to you, do those things. Take the values and the tenets of Aquarius, and whatever applies, great. But if it does not apply, let it fly. None of this has to resonate with all of you. It's not going to be for everybody. My whole point, honestly, was to remind you of the card I pulled for us when we crossed over into Pluto and Aquarius, the Moonology card. And it says, bring love into the situation. That was the whole point of this video. Listening to the spiritualists apologize but not apologize, course correct but stay a little stuck on stupid. Mm. And I was thinking another thing I thought of was bring love into the situation. Don't half step. Just bring love into the situation. Not just bring it. You've got to know love to bring love. So bring love into the situation. And whatever you're doing, if you went hard for Harris and you're on that side of judgment, whatever you decide, bring love into the situation. For those of us who foresaw this is our moment, this is our time. But always remember, not just bring love into the situation, keep love in the situation. You do those things that, may feel a bit counter to what feels natural for you. Just know, just say it. You don't have to be emotional about it. Just say the words. Just think the thoughts. Because even in that, you are bringing love into the situation. The universe will do the rest. You just want to make sure you continue, you don't go backwards. And you won't. Because once the timeline shifts, as long as you're on that side of the coin, you're pretty much good. You'll do what you need to do, say what you need to say, feel the way you're supposed to feel. It's all good. It's in our favor right now. You feel me? We're golden. We're golden. So this is what it's like when you go through the fire, whatever it means when it says, you walk through the shadow of how is it? You walk through the valley of the shadow of death. For sure. Because death represents Pluto. Or Pluto represents death. Thy staff is with me. Thy rod and thy staff is with me. I'm going to look that up because, like I said, I used to be a scholar, but heck if I remember. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. I'm forgetting the rest of it. All right, so I'm going to look it up real quick. We're not pulling cards today. We're revisiting the things that we were taught that consequently seem like they just let us down a whole nother a path, led us down a path of destruction, didn't do anything for us. Let's see. Okay, can't seem to find that. Let's see if this is it. No, this isn't the Lord's Prayer. Not that one. Sorry. See? Just a rusty scholar. So let's do it this way. So we're not talking about the Lord's Prayer. The Lord is my shepherd. Psalm 23. I am the quintessential rusty scholar. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. This is what we've been through. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The universe was there comforting us the whole time. Thou preparest a table before me. Ask me if this is not the truth. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Are you kidding me? This is our reward. We went through the valley of the shadow of death. We trusted the universe, whoever your guides are. I have deep love for the universe, so that's what I use. I trusted the universe, even when I didn't know how to trust myself, let alone trust the universe. The universe stayed with me. It was his rod and his staff that comforted me. There were moments I was in deep grief. Can you imagine? A Capricorn not having stability, that's the ultimate death for us. But the universe was there, comforting me, guiding me, consoling me, getting me back up on my feet again. And as I got knocked down, it was right there guiding me, consoling me, getting me back up on my feet again. Okay? This is what it's like for us now. Our cup runneth over. Surely, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I remember years ago, prior to Pluto in Capricorn, I read this prayer and I said, that's what I want for me. Because I was going through it then. And it seemed like I was looking for it out then. This was during Pluto and Sagittarius. And I was feeling it then. And I looked at that prayer and I said, I want that for me. But it wasn't going to be handed to me. I wasn't going to volunteer my way to it. I wasn't going to serve my way to it. I had to go walk through the valley of the shadow of death. But I was never alone, even though everyone around me seemed to be opposing me. Maybe that's what they call the shadow of death, when everyone around you seemingly opposing you, and to the point where your mind starts working against you, firing neurons, firing, misfiring. When you want to respond a certain way and you don't, you end up sabotaging yourself. Your mind is working against you. I had to work through that too. I had to get to a point where I was like, listen, I need my mind to work for me, not against me. I had to work through all of that. But I knew years ago that I wanted this thing for me. I wanted this juiciness for me. I envisioned, you know, the universe basically setting a table before me in the presence of my enemies, because they were vast, they were wide, and they were cruel. And some of them maintain to today cruelty still intact. They've learned nothing. And maybe that was their role for me to go through and get to this place. And I'm not saying this is about just me. I know it refers to many of you. I know that. So I know a lot of y'all understand what I'm talking about here. And yes, this may be esoteric in all kinds of ways. I get that. The Bible is very esoteric. That was the word I was thinking of uh, before. There's allegory, is esoteric, all of that. And from a practical point of view, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I didn't want this for me in all of its elements, in all of its juiciness. I wanted that for me. I wanted my head anointed with oil. I wanted my cup runneth over. I wanted a table prepared before me in the presence of my enemies, all of that. I wanted to surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house, my inner higher self of the Lord forever. I knew that. I know that house is inside of me, not outside of me. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. that I want to reside in the state of the superconscious. And I am, as so many of you. And we helped each other along the way, whether we know it or not. We did it. We did that thing. The juiciness of it all. It's just delicious. Just delicious. And so here we are. I don't have time to, you know, be bereft about what people are grieving about now. They stood on the wrong side of the fence. Period. And I knew as a young girl, I used to say things like, Lord, don't let the train leave without me. Give me time to get out in the world. It's the stupidest thing I could have ever asked for because honestly, I could have gone through this then. But I was a child. And this is what children do. We make decisions and we think that it makes sense, but not so much. But would I have learned all the lessons early on have been that easy? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Maybe I would have been more bitter if I had made those hard decisions then and still went through. At least I had a little time. The universe granted me a little time to just get to know myself a little bit and enjoy and be able to go out and hang out with friends, which I couldn't do before. Little things like that mean a lot to children, to young folk. But all of that doesn't matter anymore. We are here. We are where we are right now. And there is no better place I'd rather be. Thank God I am not that spiritualist that's just knee deep in stupidity. Balance your spirituality with science, with facts, with research. You got to balance it. Otherwise, you're just all lost in the ethers. And you lose sight of what's real and what's not real. Okay, it's a, it's a, it's a, it's a fine line. But when you're on the right side, you're just on the right side. We're good. We're good. We slip up. We go, wasn't supposed to do that. Slipped up. We're going to do better. And we will do better. It's different from when you're on the wrong side and the consequences just, whew. We've done that. We've been there. We've done that. And we represent grace. Okay. We went through the fire. We walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And we came out on the other side. So congratulations again. Much love to you all. Thank you for this time this morning. on this 23rd day of November. Um, so happy for us. Just remember, goodness and mercy follows us everywhere we go and all the days of our lives moving forward. And as we dwell in the superconscious, the house of the Lord forever. That's the house of the Lord, our superconscious. It's the best place to be. You feel me? All right, much love. Appreciate you. Thank you. Much love to you. Remember, bring love into the situation at all times and keep it there, okay? That's the key. All right, peace, 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 peace.